You know, we see a lot of narrative acknowledgement statements that we see on buildings, you know, all the time when we go in acknowledging, you know, the original and first owners. You know, if we can take that to a next level, to a deeper level, I think we can really push some buttons and really get people starting to think about our culture and our history and our knowledge and the stories that exist on this land.
As you are gathered for this event, close your eyes and in your mind imagine this place in my ancestors' time.
It's the opening night of Hobart's Dark Mofo Festival.
Come walk with us.
Members of the Palawa community, the traditional owners of the land, and other First Nations leaders are inviting a rugged-up crowd of a couple of thousand on a powerful reclamation walk.
We would actually reclaim, just for a little bit of time, you know, we'd have our mob out there in the street, you know, doing this stuff.
The procession eventually arrives at a bark hut built inside an empty shop. This work, entitled Home State Nipaluna, emerged through consultation between internationally renowned Australian artist Fiona Hall and a collective of First Nations artists and community members.
Even if you don't have the words to describe it, I think you feel what it would be to inhabit this space, you know, to have this structure as part of your culture, even if you're not from that culture.
And while the raising of the Aboriginal flag marks the start of the festival, the debate around another flag has led some artists to consider boycotting or blacklisting Dark Mofo.
It was a case of, do I want to be a part of Dark Mofo after what's happened, or do I not want to?
As First Nations mob, we have suffered enough, we've certainly bled enough. It's just more abuse, it's an abuse.
And they made a mistake. They made a big mistake, but that shouldn't stop great things from happening.
Over its 8-year history, Dark Mofo hasn't shied away from controversy. Animal sacrifice, burying an artist beneath a Hobart road, and various twists on Christian iconography have repeatedly, and some say deliberately, landed the festival in the headlines. But in March this year, a social media post sparked a massive wave of criticism that caused serious damage to the festival's reputation. The post was a public invitation to contribute to a work commissioned by Dark Mofo called Union Flag, which was conceived by Spanish artist Santiago Sierra. The work proposed to stain a Union Jack flag with blood donated by First Nations people. On social media, the backlash was immediate, with many First Nations people blindsided by the announcement.
Why has Dark Mofo commissioned this work without really engaging with us to see what we might want to say about that?
Lee Carmichael, the festival's creative director, initially defended the work.
I deeply believe that artists have a right to express views on any topic, theme or concept that they choose.
Within hours of this interview, Dark Mofo posted an apology, acknowledging the hurt caused and cancelling the work. But the damage was done. And in the wake of the cancellation, questions were asked about Dark Mofo's consultation process with First Nations community and artists.
I know from the conversations that I've had, there is this idea that in the past the festival has been culturally unsafe, but I certainly feel confident moving forward that the festival has become a culturally safer space.
Artist and Palawa man Caleb Nichols-Mansell was openly critical of Dark Mofo's decision to commission this Sierra work. But he has since been appointed as one of 2 First Nations advisors as part of Dark Mofo's new engagement strategy. These appointments, while welcomed by many as a step in the right direction, have also been criticised by some as a superficial attempt to fix an image problem, what is sometimes referred to as black cladding. For those who are concerned that this is sort of a black cladding rather than like a really meaningful collaboration with First Nations artists and community. What would you say to that?
I'd encourage them to have conversations with the people that are working with Dark Lab and the festival more broadly, because I'm confident that through those conversations they would understand and they would realise that this is more than black cladding. Reclamation and home state, that is a community collaboration that's been led by the Palawa community.
There's been a lot of First Nations people hurt and compromised, and who, you know, say that they would never work with Dark Mofo again. And I don't think we should lose the opportunity to kind of talk about that.
Fiona Hamilton is a Trawulway artist who has worked extensively with Dark Mofo in the past, but left in anger last year due to what she thought was an insensitive approach to First Nations engagement.
And if we're just going to, you know, kind of sweep that under the carpet and employ some sort of, you know, some toxic positivity, what will happen is those people won't have a chance to address their issues with Dark Mofo, and they won't have a chance to heal. We want Dark Mofo to be successful, but we can't just race forward without considering what kind of relationship Tasmanian Aboriginal people want to have with Dark Mofo.
I don't think that I am the solution, and I don't think I can provide the solution, but what I can provide is a step into our community for Lee and the organisation to better understand who we are and how we operate so that we can better work together into the future.
While Dark Mofo's future continues to be the subject of serious debate, what is clear is that this year's event has exposed some of the deeply complex, unresolved issues around the First Nations experience on colonised land.
Sitting down in the hut last night, it was so peaceful. We were just sitting there doing what our old people would have been doing. It was cosy and warm. And then when we finally left the hut, it was just loud and lights and bright and colonised. Not where we wanted to be, really. We wanted to stay in the hut.